is Saturday, what, 22nd? Is that right? Yeah, Saturday the 22nd. Hear my APU running. Probably don't need to see. Oh, look down. I'm looking down at you. Figure we do our morning walk a little bit later than I usually do. It's Brian. I'm going to regret not having a hat, but I'm wearing my, so if I don't read the comments, because I can't see them hardly. So, good morning, OG. What's up, Jerome? We got Jason. What's up, Sterling? Rat. What's up? Wheelburner. Good morning. Beautiful day. Beautiful day. How's the audio? Audio good? Greg Zimmer. Good morning. I've decided that, in the past, if I want to change something, I do it for 30 days, right? 30 days. If I'll either go without something or I will create something. And toss this rock over here. And I've decided 30 days of these morning walks. Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes Saturday I'll take you with me. But on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I tend to do them in the afternoon because my live feeds are in the morning. Now, normally on the small channel here, I'll do Saturday morning porch talks or whatever. I thought, you know what? Let's just go for a walk. A little breezy, so I apologize if the audio is not great. I am using the microphones. Dutch, good morning. Got the guitar picks. Excellent with both feet, thank you. Top of the morning DIY. Desidoki Pam, good morning. Car, only neighborhood, no sidewalk. It's just because I live on a dead-end street, literally. I mean, look. I don't know if you can see my truck in the background there. When I get up to this stop sign, then that's when we'll have sidewalks. So now there was a time where Springfield was horrible about sidewalks. And there's a main artery just on the other side of these houses. Like if you've ever delivered to anywhere in Springfield, you've probably been on that road. And they're just now, last couple of years, have put sidewalks there. So, but I think the way the pipes are laid out, they don't do sidewalks on this road. There's really no point to it. So, but at any rate, I'm wearing a jacket today. Wearing my death metal Vor hat. It's chilly today. It's like 41 degrees. I know you Wisconsin, Michigan people are like, oh, it's only 41's good. But I get it. See, there's a sidewalk right there. But we're not going to use it. Sidewalks are for suckers, man. Be a rebel. Let's see. Like button has been touched. Thank you. You make it sound weird when you word it like that. I always tell people to hit the thumbs down twice if you don't like me. Hold on, what's going on here? Morning. All right. We got the lawnmower. I need to mow the lawn today. So, my mom gave me this riding mower, right? And our yard's kind of small, but it was nice to have. And well, we had to put it at the other house because that yard was big. Well, we're selling the other house. That closes next week. So we've got it back at our main house, and it's been nice. I can go outside and buzz the yard real quick and be done in an hour. Do some touch up with the push mower and we're good to go. All right, see? Look both ways. And here's your sidewalk everybody's concerned about. As you can see how new these are though. Right? So. Need a 10-foot selfie stick while you're doing this? Well, I can do it this way. There. But I look like a jackwagon going down the road. Look. Yeah, I look like one anyways, but look. Look at my selfie stick. Like, that's so, that's ridiculous. Anyways. But, I forgot. Oh, I was talking about the lawnmower. So yeah, I'll have to buzz the lawn real quick either today or tomorrow. I think we might have some storms coming through today. I might have to do it later. So, but yeah, we're selling the house. The reason why we're selling it is because we've decided to stay in Springfield for another 5 years, at least, while the youngest one goes to college. And, you know, she's going to be going to college here in Springfield, and so we decided to sell it because we're not renters. We're not renters at all. We're not those people. We've tried it in the past with another house that we had, and we we got burned both times. Of course, we didn't know what we were doing. We were like the equivalent of someone that didn't go through CDL school becoming a single truck authority owner operator. Essentially what that comes out to. But for the most part, the house sat empty for a while, and we're like, you know what, let's just, you know, because during the vid, they were like, you can't kick people out of their homes. You know, they're basically making it legal for you to squat. They weren't repossessing homes. They weren't letting you evict people. And the particular pair of renters that we wanted bailed on us, so we decided that wasn't the game we wanted to play with strangers. But anyways, my wife's kind of sad about it, about losing that house, but we decided that we're going to take the money that we're making off the house and put it towards some repairs that the main house needs. And I'm sure this is all very exhilarating and exciting, but you know, I'm not a complete open book, but I'll tell you a few things. So, and the extra money will help. My trailer gets paid off May 9th. That's when I make my last trailer payment. And that will be good. That'll save me about $7,000 a year in payments. So, anyways, back to the 30-day thing. So the title is Progress. You got to be interested in progress, not perfection. Like if you're running a trucking business right now, sometimes that progress, and a wise rich man told me, any day of survival is progress, right? And you're not going to find well, Dutch, yeah, we did want to live there, but we found a deal that we couldn't pass up. My wife was really excited, but then things changed. The vid happened, and it's just not a good time right now. So we figured we'd sell it while we could before the housing market takes a big dump on the United States of America. And so yeah, we just decided to get rid of it. Now we still own 5 acres of land, so we're thinking about, when it comes time, just building on that instead. So, but anyways, progress, not perfection. Like, I guarantee that anybody running the spot market right now is not running on perfection. You got to take what you can get, and keep moving forward. Have an exit plan in place, just in case things go south more than they already are. And you can see my shadow. Look, it's Will Trans. But those guys took all my freight from me that came out of this customer over here. Anyways, so I figured if I do 30 days of a walk, whether it's like 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, that's better than nothing, right? I had a problem of being on Facebook too much. So you know what I did? I did 30 days without Facebook. And that was, you really start to notice how often you pick up that phone for no stupid reason. And I tended to, you know what I discovered? That I liked reading books. I discovered that things were getting done around the house. And you don't notice how much these phones are wasting your time. I know that's ironic that we're all doing this right now, but you don't realize it until you look at your, most apps use Android and iPhone, I believe, have those features where you can see what, how many hours a day or a week you spend on each app. Now, of course, YouTube's number one on my phone. But, a lot of that's background. I listen to a lot of Viking radio music, that's live all the time. Or I'll put on Freight Waves in the morning and let it play while I'm attending the business. So YouTube's always going to be up there. On the business phone, it's either load boards or email and YouTube. Because there's a lot of stuff I'm subscribed through the OG channel that I'm not subscribed on the main channel, and vice versa. So there's a few where both phones are subscribed to it, just to give the people some good analytics, some good algorithms. So, but I'm sure this is all very, exciting. But the name of the video is Morning Walk Thoughts. So But so next week's going to be a big week for us. I'm up to 4 people in dispatch again, so that's cool. And it'll be nice. And I've already got. I may be going live on the big channel Monday morning. If I do, it'll be short because I should have 2 trucks picking up Monday. So they should be good. And then I'll have a status report of the other 2 trucks that are starting with me. And then I'll have to get to work. So let's read some comments here. Dar, good morning. I love to read, but I need to put my phone in a different room when I read. Next step, sell truck, trailer, buy a van, death metal tour, Partridge Family style. That's funny. Dar, here's the thing. I love to read too, but back before my sleep apnea was treated, I'd fall asleep within the first paragraph. But I have noticed that I'm more ADHD. So there are times when I'll pick up a book, so I can read now, right? So I'm not falling asleep at every time I sit down. But I notice the attention's a thing, right? So if I'm driving the truck and I'm doing Audible, a lot of times I'm hitting the rewind button every 30 seconds. And when I'm doing that, it's because my mind's wandering. So if my brain's not in it, I'll shut it off. Same thing with physical books. If I find my mind wandering, then I'll just put the book down. And as far as having the phone in the room, I don't have the luxury of taking the business phone out of the room because of the safety manager aspect. But it does. So I don't have a whole lot of notifications on that phone other than email and Samsara and, and texts. But the main phone, that thing goes off all the time. All the time. 8 o'clock on Saturday morning, my YouTube notifications go nuts because I'm subscribed to so many different things. So anybody want a free half of an entertainment center? My attention span has totally changed too. It's brutal. Yeah. Home for reset. Freight was better this week as far as not sitting goes. Shorter runs, bacon time. So yeah, the loads that I booked for Monday were actually pretty well priced. And they were fairly easy to get, actually. I was shocked. Well, one of them I had help. And that person knows who they are, so I thank you very much. But the other one, it was no problem because I put him in a good spot. So, and I noticed the southeast trend. But nobody go down to the southeast. There's no freight down there. It's all cheap and heavy. Don't go down there. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to go up to the main road here. The smell of fresh cut grass. So 30 days. So I've been trying for a goal of 1 book a month, either physical or audio. And so far I've held true to that. And I've been better for it. You can only watch so much YouTube and think you're learning when you're not, until you actually apply what you're learning. I found my Facebook time creeping up a little bit. Instagram is not too bad. Twitter, Twitter can be a time suck for me, but I've got timers on all those apps. You can set timers. So I've got like an hour a day on each of those. I did have Facebook down to 10 minutes, but then I started to moderate our church's page, so had to kind of keep it a little bit higher. And I don't get on Facebook or Twitter, Instagram on the computer at all. So let's go this way. I'm gonna put in more steps than I normally do. The walk that I take you guys with me is about 2,200 steps. Haven't seen Jeffrey Like online since Matt's. Is he taking a vacation? I'll get to that here. Taking powdered chemicals down to Philadelphia on Monday and reloading pharmaceuticals coming back. Part of the machine there, wheel burner. No, Jeff's been extremely busy. We signed on 2 new contractors this past week. Of course, he signed on Shannon the week after, or the week before, right after Matt's. Shannon Thomas, go check out her channel. And the only time he can really go live is either at night or at noon. Well, at noon his phone rings a lot. And after a while, you can only say, he and I were talking about this after a while, you can only say, hey, know your numbers. Don't do this, do this, do this. For so many times till you're kind of sick of yourself. And, so anybody who hangs out with Jeff for 3 hours, you'll know how busy he is. I imagine DIY is the same way. Any carrier owner like DIY, Spectre, Jeffrey Like, my buddy Scott, SRO Logistics. These people run carriers with multiple trucks. I imagine that's a huge, you don't have time to get on Facebook. You don't have time to linger in the YouTubes. That's why a lot of people oh, did you hear about what so-and-so's doing? No. I was busy trying to get a truck out of, Atlanta. Oh, did you see that so-and-so said this about the freight? No, I was too busy living it, trying to get a truck out of Utah. Stuff like that. And every now and then, Jeff will have me, run our TMS and put the Raycons in for the drivers, and that gets interesting, especially when there's the safety calls. And 99.9% of every contractor that we've ever brought on, their first phone call to me is asking about the 8-2 split, because they put themselves in a situation where they have to utilize it, which is fine. Look, busy road. Look, graffiti. We had a class when I was a school bus driver on how to recognize certain graffiti styles. Now this looks all nice and innocent, right? So there's a strip mall, there's a Jimmy John's in there, right? But check it out. We have found hypodermic needles in this grass, and a lot of the homeless will park right over here. They'll sleep in here or they'll sleep back here. Cops usually have to wake them up to get them out. And I'll give you a rundown of, there's a house up here with a fence. There was a shooting there. I think it was a drug deal gone bad. Someone got mad at somebody else and shot him. And then there used to be a house right there. It was a meth house. They had to tear it down. And then that house might have had a similar history, but they're rebuilding it. And then there's 2 houses near me as we get further down the street where people have killed themselves. So don't let the looks deceive you. I'm always ready if things go down on this when I'm taking my walks, if you get my drift. Pretty much if I'm not at the DMV, post office, or the courthouse, I guarantee you that I've got something in my pocket. So, but Jeff has just been really busy. He talked about wanting to, he's got great plans, intentions for the channel, but life just catches up. And his personal life is, man, it's busy. So it's hard to do a YouTube channel when your life is like that. Both feet. That's funny. Grafton, what's up? Yeah, this is the house right here. Drug deal gone bad is what they said on the news. My daughter was awake when she heard the gunshot. And then for a minute, the homeless were camping on these corners. We immediately shushed them out. It's sad. I definitely feel for the homeless, but it's a difficult situation. A lot of it's drug related. It's either drug related or mental illness or both. I've been homeless before, and it was neither. It was just poor decisions on who I was hanging out with. I had this really bad relationship with this woman, and I decided I had to leave. And the only option I had was my car. Did that for about a week. And told my parents what was going on. They're like, yeah, you need to come home. So I did. And my life's been different ever since. So if you got a sound mind, and you have legitimate issues that you can resolve, then yeah, you're not homeless for long. There are resources. Okay, so that gray house there, a guy killed himself in that house. And what they ended up doing is, after he died, I don't know who got it, but it was sold and it was renovated. That house went for $200,000. Can you believe that? This house also went for $200,000. That's insane. We paid $80,000 for our house, which is about like this. It's probably about that size. I'll be curious to see how many steps this are. But other than that, it's a pretty quiet street. A lot of the homeless used to come down here until we closed off the fence here. And then we've had one police chase end, and they crashed in our driveway. Luckily, it didn't hit any of our vehicles, because no one knows how to read the signs that says street ends. And then one day my kids were playing, they were little. They were over here by the storm drains. They found a shotgun. They didn't touch it. They knew. They got their mom, and she called 911, and they came and got the gun. So it's a great place to dump a gun after you've used it. So it's probably what happened. But our neighborhood is nowhere near like what the others are. So we're in pretty good shape right here. I mean, it's not where we wanted to be at this time, but to be honest with you, we didn't think Shrinkville would get as bad as that. But Man, something about COVID, man, just accelerated everything. It accelerated the drug use. It accelerated the homelessness. And I fear that it's only going to get worse. Now, normally I put you guys on the steps of the truck with APUs running. So, there's the truck. It's pretty. So we'll sit on the porch a minute. Well, maybe not. Let's go through the house here. Oh, there's the pillar I screwed up. See, I curse myself every time I look at it. All right. Let's do this here. We'll get on the back porch and talk a little bit. All right. Get some coffee, shall we? Coffee. See, this is cool because you can still hear me, even though you can't see me. All right. So we'll still talk. I'm just gonna go outside here. Ooh, almost spilled it. All right. I gotta clean up this back porch. It looks like white trash. All right. Speaking of white trash. So anyways, anyways, good morning. Thank you guys for being on this journey with me. After live feed, I'll see how many steps that was. So let's get this up here. All right. So, fentanyl zombies, they do not run, move, or fast. Easy targets. And they're literally rotting. Like, there's this new drug called Trank. Have you guys heard of this? Let me move this thing. There. Don't want to show that live on YouTube. They're literally rotting. Their flesh is literally rotting. And they're just like, there's like some EMS people that will go around and bandage up the wounds, but it's crazy. Look up Trank and TRANQ and fentanyl, and I mean, look at Kensington. Just type in Kensington Avenue. I mean, what a lot of people don't realize is that we're under biological warfare. I mean, the open borders have allowed these massive amounts of fentanyl to come in, all created by the pharmaceutical companies to come in. I mean, it's not like meth where it's manufactured. This stuff is already made and it's legal. And people don't realize that we're under a chemical invasion. It's not your classic like mustard gas World War I stuff, but I mean, look back at the opium wars after World War I. And before World War I, that was kind of that's how a smart country invades, is they do it through economics, they do it through They do it through economics, they do it through social aspects, and they do it through chemicals. Yesterday I was at a health food store, or health food store. I got some MCT oil, I got some pork rinds, that was it. I tried to get some vitamins, and all the vitamins have like, there's vitamins that got like colored dyes in them. And, you know, I'm trying not to be so dogmatic about that, but I keep hearing stories about how meat has plenty of vitamins. You can get plenty of vitamins you need from food. What's up, buddy? Come here. And you know, so we have our own chemical invasion to think about, besides what's coming over illegally. What's up? You want to be live on YouTube? Here. Here. Yeah. That's my goal. Every morning live feed, I'm going to have a point where I hold a cat. There you go. You want in? Dweeb. All right. But it's a real, and that's I mean, between that and diabetes, those are the true epidemics. That's what's taking people out. You know, the vid was taking out people with morbidities, you know what I mean. So that Sterling, watch the dextrose and the pork rinds. That's the only thing I'm buying. There's this one called Porking Good pork rinds, and it's basically, the ingredients are pork skins fried in pork fat. That's it. And salt. There's no dextrose. There's no maltodextrin. There's no chemical additives, and those are the only ones I eat. Because I noticed that if I have anything with maltodextrin in it, it triggers me to eat. That's kind of the advantage if you could sell a food that makes you want to eat more. Interesting. You know, think about Chinese food, right? Chinese food has a lot of cornstarch in the sauces, right? You know, people can blame MSG, but MSG takes on different forms, but the cornstarch, you know, triggers chemicals in the mouth that makes you want more. Kind of like certain drugs or cigarettes. You know, that's the interesting thing. So, but yeah, you're right. I try to avoid anything with dextrose in it. I try to avoid maltodextrin, dextrin, all these different starches, modified food starch. That's just another form of MSG. The less, and I am being kind of dogmatic about it. I am being strict about that kind of stuff because I'm trying to reset my my body here. And Dr. Berg has been putting out this material that, you know, depending on your body type, it could tell you what your struggles are. So if you have like certain digestion issues and you have a certain body type, you could have adrenal fatigue, which, you know, but across the board, intermittent fasting and a low carb lifestyle helps most, if not all, of the ailments that we spend millions and trillions of dollars with the pharmaceuticals. So, and then my wife was telling me about someone that she was listening to on an interview where she's like not doing it now, but she was paid to go into medical schools and to promote this. If people are overweight, you can't mention it. You can't, unless they come to you and say, hey doctor, I'm overweight, what can I do about this? They cannot initiate that conversation. They can be like, hey doc, my knee hurts. And he can't say something like, well, you know, if you lost some weight, that would help. He can't do that anymore. Doctors can't do that anymore. Just like, well, I won't get into the other thing that they can't do, but, and yeah, there is a filter on still, even though it's my smaller channel, but, and now they're trying to encourage doctors that being overweight is okay. You can be healthy and be overweight. And I'm like, it's like we're literally living in opposite world. And what it's done is it makes people sensitive. And there are people that actually do TikToks out there that say, oh, if you lose 100 pounds, that means you're fat phobic. I'm like, what? Maybe I don't want to lug around 100 extra pounds. You know, and see, it took time for our brains to get here. It took time for these narratives and these philosophies and this mindset. It took 50 years to get here. It took 50 years to get here. And so it's in our social aspects of our life, it's in our government, it's in our corporations, you know, and they want to make you as unhealthy as possible. And that was the true intention of, like, the Budweiser campaign. It was to target younger people, you know, all the weed clinics. I mean, drive through Oklahoma and you'll see all the weed clinics. And Michigan's the same way, and Missouri's starting to be the same way. Because they want you fat, high, and happy. They want you on all these drugs. They want you dependent on them. They don't want you to go to work if you don't feel like it. If you don't feel like going to work, stay home, work remotely, you'll be all right. Don't burst my bubble mentality. Right, exactly. And then you got the other side that's like, oh, you're a snowflake. But their anger is not, it's not accomplishing anything. And so all it does is it makes it easy target to go, well, you don't want to be like that either. So you need to be on our side because you don't want to be like that side, right? You're fat, high, and happy without drugs. Shannon, you're not fat. Ross, the flesh of your body. Yep. If you don't mind the question, how is Shannon doing? Shannon's doing great. She has figured it out. You know, her and I were talking about this the other day, so we're going to do some trucking talk, I guess. Anyways, she approached me when she entered DART in the spot market after about 2 weeks. She said, hey, I need you to dispatch me. I said, well, there's a few challenges. You can't work with just any broker. And when she told me her numbers from the first week to the second week, I said, look, you don't need me and you probably can't afford me. And she called it tough love. I called it not wanting to take advantage of somebody. Now, if she completely could not figure it out, I would have helped her. And I gave her some tips. But she figured it out. And she's stronger for it. So she literally came into like trucking with her feet running. And you know, she's had a couple of lessons, you know, which everybody gets when they run the spot market. But beyond that, she's figured it out. She's made her mistakes, and she's still making mistakes. We all do. But she's figured it out. And she doesn't need me. Because she's good with talking with the broker. She's good at talking with the shippers and receivers. She's figuring out, hey, maybe I shouldn't go there anymore because that place sucked. You know, she's figuring that stuff out. And it's only her lack of time on the road that is her enemy. And not knowing what it's like to drive all the tolls up in the Northeast, and not knowing what it's like to go out west, you know, in the middle of Wyoming, you know, and those things takes time and experience to learn, and she's learning that, so she's doing good. Jeff and I are not going to let her Jeff doesn't want that truck back, so he and I are going to do everything we can to make sure that she succeeds. And we're happy to do it because she's willing to learn. She's willing to accept the mistakes that she has made. And she doesn't argue with us. She doesn't like, well, I'm doing it this way, regardless of what you say. She's never done that. And I've had a couple of drivers do that. There's a couple of drivers that we've tried to help that they just don't listen. And unfortunately, if you have successful people that are telling you some ideas and you don't listen, that's just another disadvantage that you're putting yourself into in this market. And so if you surround yourself with good people, you're going to be fine. Shannon doesn't have to take all her advice from Jeff and I. She can go to Wheelburner. She can go to Spectre. She can go to anybody that she sees that's successful. So, but she's doing all right. Now, Shannon, don't get a big head. Don't be one of those people. So, teamwork makes the dream work, right? Gee, that's a catchphrase that should be on a poster somewhere in an office. But it's true, right? Phobic means fear. I'm actually afraid of the consequences of being fat. That's a good way to look at it, right? I always call it the weak fighting the meek. That is absolutely true. Pale Riders in the house. No Mac Brit. Everybody go check out PRTV's video last night. If you're curious, you've probably heard about delivering flowers. If you're curious about that, Pigtail was on there. He's a good dude. He's a good friend of mine. I've known him for quite a while now. He reached out to me years ago. Him and the dean reached out to me and helped me with my negotiating skills and how to expand my horizon on working the spot market. And we've been friends ever since. So, go check it out. PRTV's done 2 videos with Aaron, so go check it out. Just right now is our still winter. Where's my universal basic income? LOL. A little chilly today. I know it's not chilly for you guys, but Dave. But yeah, Shannon has the mindset and the tenacity. And that's what it's, look, I'll level with you. That's what it's going to take to survive what's coming. I don't care if you're in trucking or not. Because with all the layoffs that are being announced everywhere, and all, like even the big ones like Google and Amazon and Facebook and all that, you're going to need mindset to get through it. And I've been warning about you guys this stuff for about the last, I don't know, since the vid shutdowns. What we're getting ready to go through is going to require mental fitness, financial fitness, physical fitness, and spiritual fitness. I can't express that enough. And I don't want to sound redundant by saying it every single time I'm live. But that's the reality. And if you're unfit in some of those areas, don't panic. Don't freak out. Progress doesn't mean perfection. And that's the title of the video. It's okay. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. Now it's time to get to work. Do one more thing a week to keep the procrastination devil on your shoulders. Keep him from influencing you. Put that phone down more. After my live feed, of course. Read. Listen to audible audiobooks while driving instead of listening to this YouTube Yahoo nonsense. because that's draining. And trust me, I've watched all the videos in the past of the normal people in our circle, and I found that if I had a lot going on in my life, those things were insignificant to me. You know, just like a soap opera. You know, soap operas, you know, were meant for lonely housewives that had nothing to do, you know, except sit at home and raise the kids, which that's a chore in and of itself. But when the kids are at school, what are you going to do? You can only clean a house so many times. So what do? You get into the soap operas. That's why soap operas were so popular for many, many years. Because we want to be involved and distracted by someone else's story. And I get that, man. I get that. That's what fiction books are for. You know, get involved in a story and just, there's something refreshing about a good fictional book. DIY was, he recommended me a book series that I'm just starting now. And it's been great. I mean, you know, you hear all the time, oh, if you read, you become smarter. If you read, become, you know, reading, you know, CEOs of companies, they read X amount of books per year, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's hogwash. But then now I've started reading even fictional books. Like one of the books I finished was Scott Ian from Anthrax. I finished his book, his first one. I'm getting ready to start on Bruce Dickinson, the singer of Iron Maiden, his book. What does this button do? I've got 2 sales books that CDN sent me that I'm getting ready to start on. I started on one. I've actually started on both of them, but I have to kind of calm down and focus on one. YouTube is the ultimate soap opera. And look, is it funny sometimes? Yeah. Is it good to not think about how crappy your business is going so you get involved in these kind of things? Absolutely. But eventually, too many distractions, I don't care what they are going to keep your focus. And guess what? That's what the powers that be, they want you distracted. They want you not focused on personal growth. They want you not focused on personal development. They don't even want your kids to have personal development. Don't believe me? Look at the state of the schools. Look at the state of the kids. Look at the crap that they're shoving down the kids' throats. They don't want you to have personal development. They don't want you to have tolerance. They don't want you to have the ability to, you know, accept stress and deal with it. And so they want you to have that dopamine rush. They want you to go to Popeyes and binge on Netflix and go to Taco Bell for your 4th meal after you hit the bars, and then next morning go to the weed clinic to buzz you one. They want that. They want that. And they want you addicted to fentanyl. They want you out in the streets. They want to control you. And so you have to rise above all that, you know? And it's all about control. The electric vehicle thing, that's about control. The ELDs, it was about control. Speed limiters, it's about control. All the government regulations that we as truck drivers face, it's all about control. And Pigtail, what's up? I don't know if I said hey to you yet. It's Miss Charles, good morning. SST, good morning. And that's it. So while other people might be live or go on live on YouTube and do the he said, she said stuff, I'm like, that is the last thing I want to worry about. And I'll give you a story. So years and years ago, one of my bandmates, his niece was killed. And he called me one morning to tell me when it happened. He called me and goes, hey, Steve, you know, he's crying, his niece was killed. And I'm like, what can I do? Right. And so when you hear something shocking like that, you want to absorb as much news as possible. So I turned on the TV, and that was a mistake, because what was the news talking about? it was talking about Big Brother, that, you know, that show Big Brother, where a bunch of pretentious, you know, high ego, what's the word I'm looking for? Entitlement young adults were bitching about each other. And they're like, oh, you know, they were reporting on this, but not on something that was affecting my friend's life. And I remember thinking about just how insignificant everything was at that time. You know, think about when you lose a family member, or you got a family member that's fighting cancer, you know, and I've been through that as well. Everything seems so insignificant. You don't care about your business. You don't care about the he said, she said stuff. You don't care about, you know, race or gender or any of those other narratives that they're trying to divide us on. You don't care about any of that. You are focused on what you need to do for your family and for your friends. And I think that, and Mark Manson talks about how the thoughts of death should put you in that mindset that all the insignificant stuff that brings you down mentally and spiritually, those things shouldn't matter. And so we have a lot of stress in our lives that is so unnecessary. It really is. And with the economic conditions that I feel that are coming, and the war that I think is coming, I think it's going to put a lot of those things at rest. And I'll be glad to see that, because we're too distracted. We're too screwed up in our own heads. We won't get out of our own way for personal development. So personal development has to be forced. And that's kind of what we're looking at. Clyde, what's up? Good morning. Hey, Clyde, I saw you message me on Instagram, and I completely spaced it, and I apologize. So I'm not ignoring you. Everything's fine. To answer your question, we're good. So I apologize for that. I'm not the best message answerer, especially on Instagram. On Messenger and Instagram, I don't click on links. I don't do that. So, and I know you didn't send me any links, but I just, you know, that's why I hardly ever looked at it. I bought a bicycle online, plan on enjoying that this summer. Excellent. Someone hacked my Instagram. Hope it wasn't bothering you. No, it was just one. It was just one, hey, hi, how are you? And I never answered it. It's amazing how many hot chicks with numbers in their names want to friend request me on Instagram. I didn't realize I was that hot, you know. I mean, I think it's the beard and the hat, you know. I think they're like, man, I need me an old mountain man that's twice my age to text me. Just like, delete. So I'll delete that message, and why don't you message me from your real account and make sure I don't delete the wrong one. But I hope you enjoy that bicycle. I used to be an avid bike rider. I was a BMXer back in the day. I had 2 Kuwaharas and a Haro Master. The Haro Master was the last bike I owned. Oh no, I take it back. I had a Redline RL22 as well. You BMXers probably know what I'm talking about. And then I recently bought it's called a Salsa bike off a friend of mine, and it is great. there is a GoPro of me riding it from years ago, but I need to get it worked on. So my buddy that sold it to me, he said he'd work on it for me. I do know how to fix bikes, but this has got those new disc brakes, and I don't know how to deal with that. So I'm behind the times when it comes to the bicycles. But I used to build bicycles as a contractor for Walmart, Kmart. That's how long ago it was, and Target and Lowe's and all that. So I worked for a contractor that went in and did the bicycles, the grills, the lawnmowers, you know, take them out of the box, put them together, that kind of thing. Um, that was a fun job. You got paid by the piece. I enjoyed that job. It was physical. If I was more mechanically inclined, it would have been easier, but I know my way around a bike a little bit, so. But yeah, every time I see Rat lay it down, I was a part of like 3 BMX freestyle contests here in Springfield. And I can't tell you how many riders were using Rat Lay It Down for their routine song. It was crazy. So I miss rigid frames on bikes. I've never gotten used to suspension bicycles. Yeah, I don't do suspension bikes. I don't like them. I've had a couple, but I just, they're harder on you. And I don't like gears anymore. I like a 1-gear bike anymore. We're making it, just working a lot more for less. And we all are doing that, right? Myself included, even though I'm not driving. Did I star in Rad? No. But Rad is one of my favorite movies. I was part of the... Come on, kitty. I was part of the petition that wanted to get it put on DVD. And I think they actually accomplished it. And I used to have the soundtrack. That was like one of my favorite things I used to listen to before metal, was the Rad soundtrack. And recently, the DVDs were sold out, but so I bought it on YouTube. So it's actually one of the movies I own on YouTube. And every now and then, like once a year, I'll bust it out, and feel like I'm 15 again, and it's awesome. I remember seeing it in the theaters. I remember having a crush on Lori Loughlin. And then Bill Allen, I was given his book for Christmas. And he is really capitalizing. He's even releasing vinyl record albums of the Rad movie soundtrack, but he's charging like $50 for them. Like, I would buy that if it wasn't $50. But I understand he needs to make a profit. He has taken this Rad thing, because that's about the only movie that ever did anything for him. And he's capitalizing on it. He's hanging out with Eddie Fiola and Martin Aparijo and just going to town on it. Good for him. Oh, I had a tissue around here somewhere. Maybe not. But yeah, movie Rad was awesome. Now, here's some trivia for you guys. Ready? I'm trying to remember her name now. Who's that chick that Tom Cruise married? And then divorced. What was her name? Oh, I can't remember her name right off the bat. I'm going to have to look that up. Nicole Kidman, thank you. So Nicole Kidman's first movie is a movie called BMX Bandits. And I want you guys to look that up. She's this goofy, red-haired, curly-haired, chick, and it was filmed in Australia. And so it kind of predated Rad. Rad was the first one to have like real pros in it or whatever, but yeah, Nicole Kidman's first movie was a BMX movie, and it's cheesy as hell, but it's awesome, right? You could see Nicole Kidman she was like 14 or 15 in those days, I think, or at least that's what she was playing. But yeah, And I'm one of those guys that if I ever met her, I would want her to autograph my version of my DVD copy of BMX Bandits. T-Bone, are your chickens big enough to move into the coop yet? T-Bone, what's up? Doing the chicken thing, huh? Helga Kunkelman. But yeah, that was a good. I haven't watched that in a while. It's probably one of those movies that's actually free on YouTube. You know, if you got YouTube Premium, there's a lot of movies on there that are free. Speaking of movies, we downloaded Mark Manson's movie version of his book, which it was great. We're going to watch it again, and we might force the teenagers to watch it. Well, I say teenagers, one's 21, but you know, but anyways, that was one of our goals, was to get chickens. We can have chickens, I guess, here in Springfield, but you know, I might convince the wife to try to do that. We do have a friend that brings us eggs. We buy them off of him, farm fresh eggs, so that's good. We had a couple of BMX tracks near my town back in the 80s. It was a thing back then. Yeah, we have one here in Springfield. I have never watched a race there. I want to. And one of my acquaintances is a big promoter over there. He's a promoter. He's a big supporter over there. He keeps telling me I need to come out. And he actually races in the old guy division. So everybody wanted a JMC bicycle. Yes, sir. We got 12 chicks, 2 guineas. We're going to do it last year, but things happen. I would think the challenge of having chickens in Michigan is keeping them warm in the wintertime. I know that the weather that we had this year would have killed any birds. Yeah, mongoose. It was funny when I started seeing mongoose hit the Walmart. I was like, that's weird, because mongoose at one time was cream of the crop. Now it's like a bunch of bratty 12-year-olds that don't even realize what they got. You know, get it for Christmas and they ride them once and they rot. In fact, I got one right over here in the corner. It's got the rotor on it. It's got the gyro. It's got the freestyle. It's got the pegs. It's got everything. It's even got the mags. So, but it's a Walmart one. It's not like the old Moto Mags one. But if I get down to my high school weight, I'll start riding BMX again. That'll be fun. The GT, the only BMX bike you had, Sterling, was a GT. I never got a GT. I liked them. They were neat. GT had usually the most, they were the best at marketing. They had the flashy pros like Eddie Fiola and Martin Aparijo, and who was the other guy? Oh, I can't remember. He's on the, yeah. And there was always a battle between them and Haro, right? You know, Haro had some really good riders like Ron Wilkerson, or, oh, what's the other guy's name? I'm drawing a blank. And I literally have like, it might be worth something, but I literally have like 100 some odd freestyle magazines in my garage still. Hopefully the mice haven't gotten to them, but, you know. Yeah, they weren't easy to get. Yeah, that's the thing. You know, back in the day, you had to special order these bikes, especially if you lived in a small town. And now you can buy like already decked out, built up freestyle bikes at Walmart. It's like, yeah, it's a different. It's kind of like the amps, right? Like, you know, back in the day, you had to build up your sound if you're a metal guy. Now you can like buy an amp, it'll model like 10 different sounds or 20 different sounds, and it's a plug and play situation. Used to have Kuwahara. I had the BMX race version of Kuwahara, and then I had a Bravo KT, which was like a poor man's Haro Master, pretty much. It had the double top tube. And I love that bike. It was green. And I've got pictures of it somewhere. I ought to post, if I find those pictures, I ought to post them on Instagram. You need a bike with a motor? Well, they're out there. I'm sure there's a lot being repossessed right now. You can probably snag one up. TJ, what's up, man? But yeah, one of the guy I know that deals with the local BMX track, I think he was on Kuwahara's team. And then I also had a couple of friends. The guy that recorded most of the Apnea albums, he was actually, him and two other guys would do these freestyle shows. They had a portable quarter pipe. They would do shows for DARE, D-A-R-E, the anti-drug campaign. And that was good. And one out of those three guys became a big-time drug dealer after that. He's clean now, I believe. Yeah, mine was a race bike. It was surprisingly heavy, but definitely got through, put through the paces. Yeah, I had to put a frame extender on mine to do the freestyle stuff. Again, I have a picture of that somewhere. Had the layback seat posts, and it was pretty cool. I liked it. Yeah, I'll have to dig out those pictures. They're around here somewhere. I wish I still had the Haro Master. That's the one I regret getting rid of. And it's ridiculous. Those 80s BMX bikes are like worth thousands now. Especially if you get one that's all original. It's like cars now. It's like classic cars. And there are people that make their own sticker kits, and they do the refinishing. You know, they'll try to bring it to original stock. And it's like, it's crazy to me. Free Agent made good stuff. Yeah, I agree. You know, and that's the thing with my weight gain. I always blamed it on the fact I wasn't riding anymore. And in reality, it was not riding at the same time that I started eating out and eating junk food quite a bit. And so between my senior year in high school and, you know, basically the next 10 years of just not watching my weight, not exercising, that was the beginning of what would become my issues. So, but I follow a Facebook page called, it's basically nothing but a bunch of old guys like me still riding bikes and still freestyling. And it's pretty cool. You know, people on their 50th birthday, they'll do a trick, or they'll, you know. And the other thing that they have now that we didn't have back in the day was a lot, like almost every city has a skate park now. Uni seats were the most uncomfortable seat I've ever. Yeah, remember the ones with the rollers on them? And then they had the ones that had the extenders. So you can extend from the horn to your handlebars, so your handlebars would hit them, so you can do like one trick. That you look back at some of the stuff and just how ridiculous it was. But man, we were on top of the world back in those days, man. On top of the world. I miss those days to a degree. Not a cell phone in sight, right? But anyways, guys, I've talked your ear off for an hour and 15 minutes. Thanks for coming with me on the walk. Thanks for having this conversation with me. Thanks for being you, man. Whether you give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down, whatever, you know, I get it, right? T-Bone says, I get on my kid's bike a couple of years ago, and I tried to show out a bit. Didn't go so well. I've done the same thing. I tried a trick that I've done a million times, right? And I just literally wiped out in front of the street. My kids are like, are you okay? And I'm like, man, another one of those, I'll break a bone. You haven't made coffee yet? Well, T-Bone, I've been live, or T-Bone, TJ, I've been live for an hour and 15 minutes, dude. Where you been? I know you're on the West Coast and all. So, or the West Side. You're on the West Side. But anyways, I got stuff to do, guys. So thanks for watching. I appreciate every single person in here. Help me build this channel up, please. Give me a thumbs up. I don't know if I'll go live on the big channel this weekend. I know I say that every weekend, and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. If I do, it'll probably be guitar related. And that's it. If everybody else is live, I'll just kind of kick back. I think my wife and I might have plans this weekend. So who knows? But with that being said, thanks for watching. I appreciate every single person. Remember, strength for today, hope for tomorrow. Peace.